Welcome to the Murfreesboro City Council. It's November 2nd. Before Councilmember Sean Wright has our prayer and our pledge, I want to make a quick comment tonight. Sally Wall passed away this last week. Howard passed away. Her husband Howard passed away almost a year ago. But both of them set the standard on support of our Murfreesboro City school system, specifically, I think for almost 20 or 25 years since Black Fox was built. They supported Black Fox and paid for numerous things that they never asked for credit. They adopted that school because it was less than half a mile from their home, and continually supported that up until their passing. So I want to make sure and recognize the Wall family and what they've done for not just our city school system, but for Murfreesboro. Sean?
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for the continued blessings on our community. Please be with those on a national, state, and local levels as we make decisions going forward. Lord, please bless the people in Israel and be with them as they're going through difficult times. And put your hand and your healing fingers on everybody who needs you with unspoken or spoken prayers. It is in your name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I trust all is well with you all. Tonight I'm here to recognize the STARS Award recipient for the month of August. This is a carryover from September. As you know, the purpose of the STARS Award is to recognize and reward those employees who go above and beyond their normal call of duties regarding outstanding customer service, both to our internal and external customers. Sometimes that means paying close attention to the details and being diligent in your actions. Well, tonight's recipient is an individual who was very focused on her duties, which assisted other agencies in successfully apprehension of a suspect who was breaking in and stealing vehicles. Tonight's recipient is an individual who was very focused and making sure that her job was done well. Her name is April McClurkin. She's an emergency communications specialist in the emergency communications divisions of the police department. April's been with the city now for over 19 years. April was recommended for the STARS Award by her department head, which is Seth Russell, and also the communications supervisor, Mrs. Renee Matthews. The following is the nomination information that was provided by Mr. Russell and Ms. Matthews. Early morning on June the 22nd, the Murfreesboro Emergency Communications Center received multiple 911 calls regarding numerous vehicles, break-ins, and also cars being stolen. This included break-ins that were in progress and involved stolen vehicles. Through the determination and persistence of April McClurkin, throughout the next hour, it was discovered that one of the stolen vehicles was being used by the suspect to break in other vehicles. A vehicle location ping was provided by one of the callers and updated throughout the incidents. As information was received within the communications center, April continually was in contact with the Rutherford County and the Williamson County Sheriff's Office by giving them updates of the ping of the stolen vehicle and any other information to keep the officers' safety in concern. April continuously coordinated other needed information with the police dispatcher and officers on the scene in Murfreesboro. Due to April's persistent and timely coordination of efforts between multiple agencies and responders involved, Williamson County successfully located and recovered one of the stolen vehicles, and a suspect was placed in custody. April's action within the center directly contributed to the apprehension of the suspect who was involved in the break-in in the process. Her actions demonstrate contributions through service excellence. Mayor and council, it's obvious that April is a person who exhibits service excellence and undoubtedly is a star in the eyes of both the city and also Williamson and Rutherford County. So, Ms. McClurkin, if you would please stand. On behalf of the mayor, the city council, and the great city of Murfreesboro, we recognize you as a Stars Award member for the month of August.
Got two other ceremonial items tonight. We are blessed in our community that we have a significant amount of young men and young women who are competing as student athletes. And so tonight, it just so happened that we have two teams from Providence Christian that all had record-breaking years. And one of the groups, when you listen to what's in the proclamation, the women's golf team has had 3 years of state championships. So I thought it was good to bring both groups together and recognize them tonight. So Reagan, if you want to come up. Reagan is the sole member of the golf team that could be here tonight, but Reagan, we get to put you on the spot. So whereas through its discipline, dedication, and hard work, the Providence Christian Academy girls team experienced a spectacular season, proudly representing Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. And whereas the Providence Christian Academy girls golf team won its third consecutive TSSAA state golf championship held at the Sevierville Golf Club. And whereas their 2023 season accomplishments are district champions, region champions, TSSAA champions, two-time TSSAA scoring record, three-peat state championships for 2021, 22, and 23. They also broke the scoring record, all-time scoring record this year for ladies golf. Whereas team members include head coach Philip Pettit, assistant coach Carrie Hammonds, Isabella Johnson, Caroline Pardue, and Reagan Warren. Now, therefore, I, Shane McFarland, Mayor of the City of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim November 2nd, 2023 as a day to recognize the Providence Christian Academy women's golf team in Murfreesboro and encourage all citizens to join in recognizing and honoring the significant contributions, visibility, and notoriety the team and its coaches have brought to our city. Reagan, congratulations. And also representing Rutherford County and Murfreesboro, we have the PCA women's volleyball team. Through its discipline, dedication, and hard work, the PCA women's varsity volleyball team experienced a spectacular and historic season, proudly representing Murfreesboro. And whereas the PCA women's varsity volleyball team overwhelmed the competition and posted a championship game win in 4 sets. Whereas the PCA women's varsity volleyball team, along with head coach Mary Ruth Jones, assistant coach Ray McCauley, and Jennifer Allen, will forever be designated for their storybook success in 2023. Whereas the 2023 team was tenacious, resilient, and physical, which allowed the PCA women's varsity volleyball team to reach their ultimate goal of winning the district title, region title, and ultimately the state championship. Whereas the PCA women's varsity volleyball team finished the season with a 36-3 record. Whereas the PCA team was led by 7 incredible seniors: McKenna Shotwell, Tia James, Layla Ferrier, Melinda Heading, Corey Beth Miller, Gabby Douglas, and Daisy Gale. Now, therefore, I, Shane McFarland, Mayor of the City of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim November 2nd, 2023 is a day to recognize the Providence Christian Academy High School women's varsity volleyball team in Murfreesboro and encourage all citizens to join in recognizing and honoring the significant contributions, visibility, and notoriety the team and its coaches have brought to our city. Coach Joe. All right, we'll get started with our meeting. And Bill, I think it's this week, or Austin, you would know more than anyone. I think the state championship, or excuse me, the chase to the state championship for high school football starts this week as well, doesn't it?
It begins this week, and it'll run through Rutherford County before it's over. They've got the teams to beat.
The right team's going to win this next a couple weeks from now.
That's right. Oakland and Riverdale had a big one.
The team that scores the most points will win that game, I assure you.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anyone, we had no one sign up for our public comment and actionable items, so we'll move to our consent agenda. You have 6 items on your consent agenda.
Second.
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. And is Leadership Rutherford here tonight? Is that why I assume y'all are here? So thank y'all for coming. Typically, they all sit in the back row when they come, so appreciate y'all sitting in the front row, and that way we can absolutely see when y'all try to skip out. So, luckily, y'all have a Titans game tonight, so we're hoping this will be a short meeting. All right, so you have on old business ordinance 23-031 to modify city code sections 2123 and 2171. This is second and final reading.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. You have item 8, sewer allocation variance, Old Fort Parkway, Dutch Brothers Coffee.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. This is an item that has been deferred 2 times, and it's back on the agenda tonight at the applicant's request. This is for a sewer allocation variance for a Dutch Brothers coffee shop located at the intersection of Marketplace and the Old Fort Parkway North Frontage Road. Just briefly, I'll go over what I went over a couple weeks ago with regards to the traffic plan. I believe that was the primary concern, was the traffic impact of this proposed development. The existing site it's a site of a vacant bank. It's been vacant for a couple of years now. The building still stands, but it hasn't been in operation for a couple of years. The Planning Commission approved a site plan for this establishment. One of the conditions of approval was that they be granted a sewer allocation variance by the City Council. So the site plan before you is what was approved by the Planning Commission. And I'll go over the access points once again. It's got a full access on Marketplace at the north end of the development. And it's also got a right-in only off of Marketplace closer to the intersection of the frontage road and Marketplace. On the north frontage road of Old Fort Parkway, there is a right-in and then a left-out and right-out. The left-out was added at the request of staff to help convey traffic to that needed to go to the east back to the signalized intersection of Mall Circle Drive and Old Fort Parkway. As far as queuing goes, the zoning ordinance requires a minimum of 10 queuing spaces, and there are 23 queuing spaces that are depicted on the plan. And this is an exhibit that I showed y'all last time. These are the means of ingress and egress from the site to disperse traffic in various directions. As you can see, the red takes you straight to the intersection of Marketplace and Old Fort Parkway. The yellow takes you westbound along the North Frontage Road to the intersection of Sam Walton Drive and North Thompson Lane. The blue takes you eastbound towards the intersection of Mall Circle Drive and Old Fort Parkway. And the purple takes you north through the Marketplace Shopping Center up to Robert Rose Drive. Mr. Brick Murphy, representing Dutch Brothers and the property owner, is here, as is Grace Wooten from Reagan Smith, representing Dutch Brothers as one of the designers, and Mr. Paul Schaefer, the property owner, if you have any questions for any of them.
Any questions from Mr. Blomley?
If there are no questions, I move for approval.
Second?
Motion is second. Ms. Brown, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris.
Aye. Oh, sorry.
Your voice is
I've just-
changing, Madeline.
I'm sorry, Madeline.
First team that scores.
Ms. Gels Harris was an aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Aye. I deserve that.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
No.
Mayor McFarland.
No.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move to ordinance 23OZ42, amending the PND zoning for along Manson Pike. Second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater.
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris.
You want to be me?
No.
Aye. Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. All right, we'll move to ordinance 23OZ41, rezoning property along Medical Center Parkway and Robert Rose Drive. This is second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater.
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. Ordinance 23OZ43, rezoning property along Medical Center Parkway. This is second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater.
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. All right, we have new business, land use matters, sewer allocation variance, Memorial Boulevard, James Retail Center. Mr. Barbie.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Murfreesboro City Council. For your consideration tonight, I've got two sewer allocation variance requests. First of the requests is for a property along Memorial Boulevard, north of Osborne Lane. As you can see on your screens now, it's for a multi-tenant retail building. The current property is 6/500ths of an acre in size and is allowed 1.63, or actually 1.65 single-family units of capacity. It's anticipated that they're going to need 7 single-family units of capacity for the center. Therefore, the request tonight is for 5.37 additional units of sewer capacity for this development. The planning staff has reviewed this application as well as their Water Resources Department, and Water Resources feels that the capacity is available in the area, and planning values the economic opportunities of additional jobs and tax revenue for this property as greater value than the units of sewer capacity that we're giving up.
Any questions for Mr. Barbie?
So moved.
Motion is second, please call, we have a motion.
Second.
Motion is second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater.
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. Sewer allocation variance, Memorial Boulevard for the James Academy.
Thank you, Mayor. This next item is also a request for a variance from our sewer allocation ordinance, also located along Memorial Boulevard, north of Osborne Lane, and one lot to the north of the previous site that we viewed. This would be for a daycare operation on approximately 1 acre. It's currently allowed 2.5 single-family units of sewer capacity, and it's anticipated to need 5 single-family units of sewer capacity. So the request tonight is for an additional 2.5 units of capacity for this location. Our Water Resources Department has confirmed that capacity is available for the property, and the Planning Department feels that the additional benefits of job creation and additional tax revenue as being of greater value than the single-family units that we are giving up.
Any questions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater.
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. We'll move to all motion items, abandon the Greenway Trail easement.
Mayor and Council, this and the following item are two cleanup items for real estate that the city has sold. The first one is a piece of property that was sold to Swanson Development some time ago. There was a couple of easements recorded on that piece of property that the city didn't intend to at the time to maintain, but they didn't show up in the title report, so they weren't abandoned at the times when the property was sold. So the motion now is to have those easements abandoned and clean up that title for the property sold. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
No questions. So moved.
Motion and second.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade? Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. All right, item 15, abandon Greenway Trail easement and establish a conservation easement for Greenway Trail purposes.
This, similar to the last one, is a cleanup item. When we did the transaction with Notes Live, the agreement called for the easements for the Greenway trails to be abandoned and then a conservation easement to be replaced over that property so that the Greenway Trail could then exist on a conservation easement as opposed to the existing easement. So this is fulfilling that agreement, what we discussed when we originally did the development agreement. If you have any questions, happy to answer those.
So this isn't changing the original plan, right, from the development agreement?
No, it's just the final documents to make that go into effect.
Got it.
So moved.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade? Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. All right, we have a wellness services agreement for 2024. Randolph.
Good evening again, Mayor and City Council. Staff is requesting your approval to move forward with an agreement with Sonic Boom to provide wellness services to our employees. If you recall, the purpose of the service for the wellness program is to empower employees with educational information and lifestyle skills that hopefully will improve their health. Just a little backstory, we recently canceled a contract with our current wellness provider because of the low level of service and the quality of the product that they were providing. So we elected to go through a bid process, and we elected Sonic Boom. The agreement is for 3 years. The annual cost is a bit over $52,000. Over 3 years, it would be almost $157,000. We feel very comfortable and confident in this organization. With that said, I'm available for any questions that you may have.
If there are none, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. All right, we'll move to amendment to the contract with Precision Delta. Chief Bowen.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. For your consideration this evening is a request to approve a contract amendment and ammunition purchase through Precision Delta. Pricing is available through state contract, and this purchase will allow us to replenish both supplies of duty and training ammunition. Funding for the purchase cost of $77,213 is provided for in MPD's FY24 operating budget. This time I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Chief?
If there are none, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. All right, we'll move to purchase of police vehicles from Lonnie Cobb Ford.
Yes, sir. For your consideration is a request to purchase 3 new Ford Transit cargo vans. Council approved the addition of 3 new crime scene technician positions in the FY24 budget, and these vehicles will be used by them as they respond to and process crime scenes. The funding for this particular purchase of $165,564 will be through the department's drug fund.
Are those vans equipped with any particular equipment in them, or are they just?
They're typically, there's a standard type small cargo van, and we basically outfit each one of them with equipment that they need to respond to a crime scene. So at any given time of the day, they're packed and ready to go whenever they're called out.
Yeah, I like to see that sometimes. I may stop by and see it.
Absolutely.
If no questions, I move for approval.
Have a motion. Kurt, was that a second?
Yeah.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. All right, we'll move to purchase of audio equipment for M3 Technology.
Yes, sir. For your consideration is a request to approve the purchase of audio-video equipment for the department's community and training rooms. Additionally, we're going to ask that any working monitors in those two respective rooms be moved to our briefing room to replace monitors there. So basically, our community room, our training room, the monitors are starting to go out. We'd like to replace those with new equipment, and then we can salvage some of the existing monitors in those rooms and take them down to the basement, the roll call room, and replace those items down there. If approved, the cost of the purchase is $78,474, and it will be funded through the reallocation of 2022 CIP funds. It'll be moved, $175,000 will be moved from police mobile video equipment to police IT replacements. I can answer any questions you may have.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. Purchase of IntelliHub SaaS for forward thinking.
Yes, sir. For your consideration is a request to approve the purchase of software licenses for the use of IntelliHub services for forward thinking. This will be a 3-year subscription for software service and support that will work with our existing hardware in our department vehicles. This purchase will allow us to have a GPS location and tracking capabilities. The total cost of the contract is $92,160, and it'll be billed in annual installments of $30,270. It's provided for in the department's FY24 budget, and subsequent payments will be budgeted accordingly. I can answer any questions you may have.
Is this in case they get stolen, or just if there's an officer down, you know where the officer is?
This gives us not only the ability to see where the vehicle is in the field, it gives us the ability to track movement of the vehicle. So it's multiple things. You're able to see where the vehicles are in the field, of course, and then you're also able to track movement of the vehicles.
Okay.
Some softwares will give you the actual GPS location, but this one also lets you do a history on the vehicle and track movements and things of that as well.
So no car 54, where are you type stuff?
I'm sorry?
So no car 54, where are you type stuff?
No, absolutely not.
So moved.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. Item 21, purchase of police equipment from GT Distributors.
Yes, sir. For your consideration is a request to purchase 45 ballistic shields from GD Distributors. These shields are going to be issued to our SROs and field supervisors to provide some additional ballistic protection as necessary. The total cost of this purchase is $184,099, and it will be funded from the American Rescue Plan Act. I can answer any questions.
You need anything else, Chief?
I knew going into this, I thought, man, that's a lot of stuff.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief, you weren't here, but Craig's going to talk to you about River Rock Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
Just giving you a heads up. Right, Craig? Yep. All right, purchase Peterbilt 548 dump truck.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Good to see you guys this evening. Got a couple things before you. So, Street Department is seeking your approval to purchase a dump truck. This purchase will be done through the Sourcewell contract in the amount of $316,971. It's funded by the FY21 and 22 CIP budget, including a reallocation of $117,000 in the CIP funds from the street paving machine line item. And I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have.
You all do such a good job. I move for approval.
Appreciate that.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. All right, we have item 23, the purchase of a Peterbilt 589 dump truck.
Just like before, this one is for the stormwater crew. It also a dump truck as well. It also will be purchased through the Sourcewell contract as well in the amount of $259,851, and is funded through the Stormwater FY24 fund. I'm here to answer any questions you may have for that one.
Raymond, what drives the difference in the price between the previous one and this one? I mean, they probably are the same vehicle for the most part, but what's the big difference?
That's a good question, Councilman. The street department dump truck is equipped with snow removal. So when we order those trucks, it comes with plow, salt spreaders, and any things that we need for that. The stormwater one will not be equipped for that.
Good question.
What was my question? Oh, the other dump trucks, are we doing pretty good? Are we gonna have to replace any dump trucks anytime soon? Because I know we're going into winter weather.
We're doing very well. You know, we had a pretty good plan going forward. We've replaced 4 or 5 in the last year, so we've got a pretty good rotation system
Right.
up. So, yes, doing well.
Good.
Thank you for your support.
Yes, I move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater,
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. Darren, I know you were probably laughing with Chief Bowen and all that stuff because it's typically you who has.
I've got one less. I've got 4, and he had 5, so he wins tonight.
But you got PowerPoints and Excel
Got pictures.
spreadsheets.
I do bring
All right.
pictures.
We have the advanced metering infrastructure purchasing contract addendum.
Mayor, Council, thank you for the opportunity tonight to bring these forward to you for consideration. First item is our advanced metering equipment contract. This is what allows us to wirelessly read our customers' water consumption. We have a $135,000 budgeted allowance. We order these items in batches throughout the year based on the need, so we can keep our inventory low. So we are asking for your approval on this contract addendum with United Systems and Software for these equipment purchases.
Any questions for Mr. Gore?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater,
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. All right, we have a task order for Water Resource Recovery Facility Standby Power Project.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Again, thank you. This is a consideration for a task order with John Bouchard and Sons to make improvements or standby power improvements at the Water Resource Recovery Facilities Control Building. We did a auxiliary plan with SSR, and they identified 5 distinct areas of the plant that needed replacement equipment or improvements to mitigate the risk of power outages. So this is year 1 of a 5-year plan. Again, it's through John Bouchard and Sons through our heavy mechanical and electrical services contract with them. It's in the amount of $1,227,111. We would request your approval to execute that task order.
Any questions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater,
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. All right, we'll move to an O&M vehicle purchase.
Yes, sir. This is a replacement vehicle for a 2015 Ford F-350. It's actually a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. These are our maintenance technician trucks. You can see from the picture that it has a crane, and we use these to remove pumps and motors and different things throughout the collection system. We did budget $90,000 for this. It came in at $102,271. So we are taking $12,271 from our reserve bucket to pay for this expense. I'm available for questions if you have any.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater,
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Mayor McFarland.
Aye. All right, we'll move to a task order amendment for the Oakley pump station replacement.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Mayor. Just real quick to kind of show you before pictures of the Oakley pump station, you can kind of see it was in a condition of dilapidation, or it was in need of full replacement. It was originally installed in 1997. We did put some inexpensive housing around it in 2007 to try to abate some noises that were occurring from the pumps. We had John Bouchard, again, through a task order in the amount of $296,000 that was approved to come in, and you can kind of see the after pictures here. So it's much better condition and much better opportunity to abate the noise that it was creating. It did experience some unforeseen challenges that are kind of itemized on the letter from John Bouchard. So the final task order amount that we're requesting is $350,527. This is unusual with John Bouchard and Sons. They usually come in under the approved task order amount, but again, this one was a little trickier than we had expected. So we would request your approval for that increased amount.
What was the nuances or the trickier things that drove it, Darren?
Well,
Simple terms, just.
Well, there was the wet well. The wet well was situated where it had to actually be moved or located, or the pumps needed to be moved off of the wet well so that our vacuum truck could actually have access to the wet well. That was the biggest, really the biggest challenge there was that wet well relocation. That's where the pumps draw the sewage out of the wet well.
Okay. No questions, I move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. All right, we have a committee on contributions of the Community Investment Trust. When we initially appointed that group a couple of years ago, they were on staggered terms, and so a couple of the appointments really only had, Craig, I think it was 1 year, a 1 year appointment. So to keep everything on staggered, we're having to reappoint those. So Carl Montgomery and Collier Smith have both just served a year, and then they're being reappointed with your permission.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. Jennifer, do we have any beer permits?
We have 2 regular permits for an ownership change for a restaurant located at 1432 Memorial Boulevard and a new location for a restaurant located at 1855 Medical Center Parkway, Suite A. Both applicants have met requirements for a permit and are recommended for approval pending final building and codes inspections.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Mayor McFarland?
Aye. Hey, I do want to make a quick comment, especially it's the end of the meeting with it Jennifer handles, but our team were rewarded from GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association, a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for our fiscal year 22. The Finance Department also received the award of Financial Reporting Achievement for earning the GFOA certificate. So they were rewarded for accounting and financial reporting, which is like music to my ear. But for the residents of Murfreesboro, if you see the detail that we get in our budgeting and even going through the reporting that we get through our audit, no pressure, but our audit is typically exemplary every year. And a lot of that has to do with Jennifer and your team. So congratulations on getting that reward. If I had a STARS award for your entire department, we would give that out, but all right, is there any other business from staff?
We'll meet next Wednesday, or no, I'm sorry, Thursday. Move to Thursday at 11:30 at the airport for our workshop.
Okay. Any other business from council? Chief, have you got another item that you want to bring up? Okay. We don't want to see you until January. Just kidding. All right, council, seeing none, we will stand adjourned.